I took my 5th grade Excel students to the Challenger Space Center in Hammond, Indiana. We had been studying comets and team building activities. So our culminating activity was to go to the center to do a mission called Rendezvous with the Comet. We started out with learning just about the comets. Who remembers what a comet is made out of? Kobe?
Dust and ice.
Okay, dust, ice, anything else? I had the recipe for the comet. These kids are so involved and so into the hands-on aspect that I wanted to make a model and show them what this may really look like. So the first thing we have is just water. Okay. Pour the water in the bowl. Now I'm going to put in just a little bit of dirt. And then I'm going to put a dash of ammonia. And the dry ice just really brought it alive for them.
That's so cool.
The students that I work with, these Excel kids, they could read 5-10 books on comets, and they could know more than I do and you do and anybody else. But that's not the point. The point for me was to bring it alive to them. This is basically what a comet would look like. Okay, it's made of dirt, it's made of gases, it's made of ice. The dry ice, as it's melting, is kind of putting off the vapors, and that's supposed to be like the tail that's coming off of the comet. Because isn't that what happens to the real comet as it's orbiting and it's melting? The particles and the gases and the ice are coming off the back end to make the tail.
The paper airplane exercise was about teamwork. Miss Nigro had us face back to back.
Like one of you's in mission control and the other one is in the space station. So you get
one person had to give you directions and the other person had to make the paper airplane.
Lay the pattern with side A facing up. All right, I have that. Fold along line 3. You see line 3? Back or front? It doesn't say. I think
It was pretty challenging because you didn't have the directions in front of you.
F against line 9. Then bring E in touch with line 3. You get that, right? No. 3. Oh, okay, what was the last one?
It really gets the kids understanding communication and how the lack of communication can totally cut off what you're supposed to get done, what your task might be.
It kind of helped a lot because then you found out how it is like to not have the directions and follow them when someone else tells you that.
The reason we did that was because then when they were on the spaceship and mission control, that's basically how it was set up. They didn't know what the other side was doing. One had the directions, one had the object to work with, and it was a training mission in really direction following and communication. They had to fill out a sort of resume and why they would work well in a certain job situation. And then I have your job assignments.
isolation team.
I was on the navigation team.
I was Isolation 3 team.
I was on the communications team.
I was life support.
I was part of the medical team.
I was in the data control.
It's a real integrated problem that they have to solve, and then it's just to see it all come together. It's really an amazing project. The students were put into teams, and from there they had to find Comet Inky and build and launch a probe into that comet.
All right, you are here today to rendezvous with the comet. Can somebody please tell me what that means? What are we talking about, rendezvous with the comet?
We're going to catch up with the comet, and then we're going to take, like, chunk of it and determine what it's made of.
I like that. I like exactly how you said that. All right, well, our space station mission control, you are actually, once we get started, you're actually already going to be in orbit in space. You're going to be aboard the International Space Station, okay? However, those of you who have the orbiter badges on, you are going to be launching, okay? So you are going to actually be launching today to meet up with that comet.
You know, walking through that tunnel and going through the airlock and, you know, wearing the uniforms and the badges, I think it just makes the experience that much greater.
Orbiter, this is Space Station Mission Control. You are go for launch.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff of Space Shuttle Atlantis.
It was pretty realistic.
It really felt like you were in something else, not a classroom.
I had seen pictures of a real mission control, and it was pretty close to the real thing.
There was smoke when the thing lifted off, and it was hard to actually believe that it was fake.
I would like to wish you good luck, astronauts, and let you know that the mission is now in your hands.
What starfield you are?
I had to tell the people how to build the probe that we were launching into space and to write down data about the parts of the probe. Use a text cable to connect PN121 to Jack 5.
While I was on the spaceship, I was in charge of testing all the people and then reporting my data back to Mission Control to make sure everybody was healthy.
May you please cover your right eye? Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah. I was on the communication team. I would have to press and hold this button and said press to talk, and I would call down to Mission Control to the space station, and it would go over this intercom so the team would hear.
Space Station Mission Control, this is the Orbiter. We are ready to receive. Over. Orbiter, this is Space Station Mission Control. The message for the medical team is we are ready to receive the reading. Over.
We worked with computers and we sent emails to life support on Mission Control, and we got pictures of what we were supposed to do. We also had test tubes, and we tested water to see if it was acidic or regular.
We worked with the radiation, because radiation can be dangerous on spaceships and all that stuff. So our job was to check the radiation levels, make sure everything was going fine. We had little robotic arms. It was just like a video game, actually. It was pretty fun. We took the filters and grabbed them with the robotic arm, then put them near a Geiger counter, which measures the radiation, and then we checked, and then we sent emails to our isolation peeps on the International Space Station.
We had to look for the comets in different star fields, and a big warning popped up that said movement was found in Starfield C. So we went there, and we found it was an unknown object.
It's telling us that it's definitely not Comet Inky, okay? So what other object could it be? Something that's moving through space. What could it be?
Asteroid?
Could be an asteroid. That's a large rock. Very good. Could be. They definitely move. What else could it be?
Planet or a moon?
Yeah, it's not shown on that.
Planet or moon, they definitely move, absolutely. Now, the thing about the planets and the moons, most of those have been identified, at least in our solar system, okay?
Regulus.
So that would be something that we would say that is known. An asteroid, that wouldn't be known, okay, until we identify it. Anything else that it could be? Could it possibly be a different comet? Could be, right? Because that definitely is going to move through space, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah? What I'm going to ask navigation to do right now is I'm going to ask them to look at this data sheet and see if they can determine what this object might be.
Look at this thing. All right.
It's right there.
See it? It looks like a comet.
It could be a comet.
And after the information they gave us on it, it was a comet.
Space Station Mission Control, this is the Orbiter. We request permission to dock with the Space Station Mission Control. Over.
We docked with the space station, Mission Control, and then we had a big discussion.
Colonel Jerry Ross at Mission Control, go ahead with your transmission.
Hey, Commander, this is Commander Cairns. Our mission to rendezvous with Comet Inky today has been cut short because our navigation team has come across an unidentified object.
Okay, go ahead, Challenger Center. I'm standing by to listen here for your report.
We have got, how many comets out there now? Two. We have two. We have got this new long period comet, and we have Comet Inky somewhere in one of those star fields, right? We have a huge decision to make. We have to decide which comet we're going to launch that probe into. Inky, when we find it, or this new long period comet.
I think we should do the new one because it'll only come around once in a while.
See, that's
what. And Inky will come around in 2.3 years.
Yeah, she has got a huge point there. Inky's orbital period comes around like clockwork every 3.3 years, right? This thing is a rare one, so this is kind of cool. What do you think?
I think we should do this new comet. First of all, we have a lot of information on Comet Inky, and since we had to decide what this even was, I'm guessing that we don't have a lot of information on this one.
You're right.
And
You're right.
And also, this orbit is like almost off the chart, and it's not going to come out for like a really long time. And by that time, we may have forgotten that this even existed.
All right, how many people say this is a new long period comet that has never been discovered before? This is very cool. We should be explorers and go for it.
We decided to go for the new one because it was more of a long-term comet.
It might not come back until like another 3,000 years later or so, and we might not be able to do research on it.
Hey, Commander, our nav team and the rest of our crew has decided almost unanimously that we would like to try and go after this new long period comet if you give us a green light.
Excellent work, astronauts. Based upon your information, I'd have to agree with your conclusion. Please return to your stations as soon as possible. You don't want to miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
The probe was going to go through the middle of the comet and collect what kind of chemicals were in there, where did it come from, and stuff like that.
Okay, astronauts, it looks as if we have an emergency. We have a meteorite shower approaching, so we are going to go ahead and have to launch our probe immediately. Meteor shower, I know, it's out.
It was a simulation. However, the students did not look like they were simulating it. They really felt like they were really right there doing all of the things.
Space Station Mission Control, this is the orbiter. We are preparing to launch the probe. Please send the probe launch code. Over.
What's the code? What's the code? 145. 145.
Okay, probe launch code is set.
Space Station Mission Control, this is the orbiter. We are preparing to launch the probe. Please send the probe launch code. Over.
We were running out of time and they weren't telling us the launch code. And what's happening over there? The launch code, finding out what it was stressful because it took a little while. And then I was really excited when we found it out. I had to tell Space Station what the launch code was.
Over to Space Station Mission Control. The code is Alpha Blue 9. Over.
Space Station Mission Control, this is the orbiter. Observe the mission status monitor and stand by for countdown. Over.
These students are capable students. I know they can read books. I know they can do the research, but I wanted them to grow and think out of the box. And team building was essential with communication skills, things that they're going to use for the rest of their life.
7,